because as we grow as a community, we need to have better service. Talked about this morning at EDA, for example, but also the runway has to be expanded. We've already bought land to extend it. We need to buy more land. And personally, I think all of council, we probably agree on this one here. Much easier to negotiate land than it is to expropriate people. When you try to expropriate people, you're going to get into years of court process and whatever. So I think this is the best way to keep our finger and make sure that we're ready. I don't want to get into a Fidel Castro speech, but is too long? Yeah? Yeah. You had told me that you were flexible. Although he was giving orders at the beginning of today's. Quickly on tourism. We have a not unique opportunity to boost tourism in this community and area. The Canadian Badlands is going to put in about $1.2 million in this area. They're even setting up their own office downtown on 2nd Street to make sure that there is, but more importantly, they're in a partnership with quite a few groups. And they're going to try and come out with a branding for this area that will be catchy so that we can really sell ourselves. And there's some pretty interesting questions about tourism. How do you get them to come here and visit? Because usually it's the first stone that you put down. If they come visit, they like it, they may say, Uncle Bill, why don't you build a house there or bring your company there or whatever it is. And that's usually how it goes. The Clay District has also done a tremendous job. What a place it's going to be when it's finished. They're in the middle of really expanding that place, and the construction there is going to be fantastic. And not only for tourism, but even for local, for events to be held there, and so on. So now I'm going to be very quick. Acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge the employees. We've got over 1,100 employees for the city, and this council has really challenged them. We've come up with all kinds of things. We get improved technology, including the button voting system that you saw. And John really, I'm not never mind. Whatever we've asked for being able to participate in meetings from far away, for all kinds of things. Our staff have been there, and we've challenged them to do things and bring us the information we needed, and they've done that. So that's very important. We had a big water break last spring on the north side of the river. Really challenging because all of a sudden you got no water, and water suppression is being questioned. Sorry, fire suppression is being questioned if we could do it, whatever. So, but that was a big one, and I'm glad they fixed it fairly quick. Ernst & Young was actually challenging for the energy side, always demanding new information and whatever, review what you do, and how you've done it, and potential, and take guests for us, which makes it difficult for our staff. The residents themselves participated in all kinds of different open houses that we've had in the last year. Ernst & Young is one of them, but there's all kinds of other ones. So we demanding a lot of time and an effort on their part to make sure that things were done. The social media phenomenon, we're now part of Twitter and Facebook and whatever. These were not, and the next generation likes these things. I'm not on that, but the next generation is, and I think, again, our staff provided some of these things. We want to make sure that our employees have a chance to progress and be as best trained and qualified as they possibly can. And we're going to try very hard to do that. And we have a project on the way to really instill constructive culture. And I hope it flourishes to the point that the service will be even better than it is today. I'm almost positive it will be, although we've done quite a bit of improvement ourselves. So to all of our employees, I'd just like to thank them for their commitment over at least 2009, but even before that, because we've really put a lot of challenge into them. And we've received quite a few awards for what they do. Just to give you an example, we're one of the top 40 employers that was identified by the Calgary Herald and Edmonton Journal, and we're the only one that's a city. Everybody else is not a city. We've implemented BizPal. BizPal is actually a system to help builders. We deal with usually about 70 builders We had the military exercise last summer, and it challenged our people because they were asking questions about how about this water and power and whatever else. And but it was a good thing, and it was well received. We just received again another financial accounting award, which is given by the Government Financial Officer Award, I guess. We were named for the Emerald Award, and that's for the environment and how we work and try to do this. The Medicine Hat News just named Council Newsmaker of the Year, but the reality is it was our staff that really prepared us for all the things that we want. Briefly, as far as volunteers and in our community, I also want to thank a lot of people who have participated to really make this community even better. In 2009, there's all kinds of challenges for some people who have lost their jobs or maybe even had a little bit less hours to work. And I want to thank all the social groups who support them, because a lot of them have volunteers into that. And then I know there's going to be all kinds of different events that's going to happen in 2010. So again, thank you for your participation and devotion to others in this one. Just a few things going to happen. Torch relay. I think you'll get more information on this one here, but Saturday, get involved. Really celebrate the Medicine Hat. We do have the Monopoly that's ongoing. Please vote. The Event Center, not going to spend a lot of time on this one here because we're maybe in stop mode. The last council was all about funding. We're not done at reviewing funding. I've asked our senior staff to maybe sit down and see what they can come up with different things, whether it's to create bonds, whatever it is, to see what kind of other options we may have. There's talk about plebiscite. We'll see what happens at the next council meeting. So bottom line to this is I think there's 4 of us that really saw the Event Center as an economic driver for our community, and others are saying the timing's not good. So let's see what happens. Last thing that I really want to talk about is the election. This is an election year. I've been told by a lot of people who have been through this. I haven't been. But in the last year, apparently things slowed down a little bit, that people start to jockey for position or really try to sell themselves a little more. I just hope that we stay, as a council, focused on your needs. And when it's time to go and campaign, but separate from what we have to do. Don't carry that into the politics of the day-to-day decisions. But I also want to invite any one of you, and all of you, to involve yourself in politics. Either volunteer to help somebody, or run yourself. We need new ideas all the time. This community does. And if somebody has better ideas than we, we'll go for it. But that's the idea, is politics. It should be healthy. We have a lot of things, hot issues in the last year, and actually the last 2 years. And but you got to address it head on. And voting is very important. I want to make sure that you participate, and don't forget in October you have to get involved into this. By the way, that's why people in uniforms are out there in Afghanistan representing the right to vote and how important it is to have a democratic process. So I'm going to close by inviting any one of you. If you have comments, you have suggestions, ideas, please don't be afraid to approach me or anybody from council on what we can do even better what we've done. Because sometimes you may have the best ideas and it's sitting there and not being used. I also hope that all of you have a great, successful and healthy 2010. If there's anything we can do to help you, don't be afraid to ask. And with this, thank you very much for your patience.